In the infinite dark sea of space, beyond the last whisper of sunlight, a lone traveler drifts silently. It's not a spaceship crewed by astronauts, nor a probe with a return ticket. It's Voyager 2, an old but persistent messenger launched by humanity nearly 5 decades ago. Most people believe that, after crossing the boundary of our solar system, it simply became a silent observer, whispering messages back to the edge of the void. But now, something has changed. Voyager 2 has seen something that was never supposed to move, something that wasn't supposed to be there. For years, its travel through the medium between stars had been uneventful, just particles, magnetic fields, and cosmic silence. Until the silence broke, until a motion, deliberate and unmistakable, was caught drifting in the darkness, something moving with purpose. And when scientists on Earth decoded the strange anomalies Voyager 2 transmitted, a chilling realization began to settle over them. What we feared deep down might actually be true. Voyager 2 had long passed the planets past Neptune, past Pluto, past the heliopause, the unnoticeable point where our solar system's influence ends and interstellar space begins. Out there, it was expected to drift quietly, picking up minor fluctuations in space dust and solar radiation. But instead, it picked up movement, the kind of movement that does not occur by accident. At first, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory noticed what they thought was a blip in the plasma wave data, a spike that lasted only seconds. These instruments are incredibly sensitive and usually report on changes in the density of particles or interactions with magnetic fields. But this time, the signal carried a strange signature. It pulsed in a rhythm. It wasn't just data, it felt like a pattern, not random or natural. Engineers thought perhaps it was interference, maybe a glitch due to cosmic rays or even system degradation. After all, Voyager 2 is nearly 50 years old. But when the same signal repeated and with increased strength, they knew something was wrong or perhaps very right. Because the data wasn't noise, it was a broadcast. Voyager 2 had observed something, and it had recorded it. When the data was cleaned up and analyzed, something emerged that sent a ripple through the scientific community. There was an object approximately 500,000 kilometers from the probe, moving at a velocity inconsistent with any known natural body in that region. No asteroid belts, no rogue planets, no expected comets. And yet this thing, whatever it was not just drifting, it was tracking. The direction of movement was toward the same vector that Voyager 2 was traveling. The object's speed changed slightly in a way that aligned with Voyager's trajectory, like a predator stalking silently in the wake of its prey, adjusting its movements just enough to stay in range, but not enough to provoke suspicion.
NASA scientists weren't alone in their panic. Independent astronomers and military observers, especially those involved in deep space tracking, were pulled in. They confirmed it. It wasn't a malfunction. Plasma density readings, the anomalies in the magnetometer, even minute changes in the probe's gyroscopic data all pointed to a single conclusion: Voyager 2 had company, and that company might not be friendly. Perhaps the most terrifying revelation came not from what Voyager 2 saw, but from what it sent back. A radio frequency burst that followed the regular feed of telemetry contained a digital signal that had no origin in Voyager's own systems. It wasn't programmed to send this, but it did. When decrypted, the packet of data contained a series of binary strings that, when plotted visually, formed patterns almost like glyphs, not natural cosmic waves, not background noise. They were constructed deliberately. Some likened them to crop circle geometry or other visible symbols in early human history: spirals, intersections, recursive loops. A swarm of AI researchers in linguistics and astronomy ran the data through contextual analysis algorithms. The results were horrifying. The structure of the signal matched what we'd anticipate from an intentional transmission, not from Voyager, but from something else, something that had either hijacked or embedded itself in the flow of signals. Whether it was a warning or a message, no one could say for sure, but the implications were clear. Voyager 2 wasn't alone in deep space, and the things it might have encountered had noticed us back. The scientific community is divided. Some argue this is the evidence we've been anticipating, evidence that we are not alone. Others are less optimistic, concerned that this is an indication of surveillance or, worse, a prelude. In past decades, the thought of extraterrestrial life was mostly relegated to exoplanet discoveries and faint signals from distant stars. But this was close, and it wasn't passive. Even more chilling is the discovery's timing. Similar occurrences were noted in data from Voyager 1 just months before, but they were deemed to be static interference. Those readings are now being reviewed in a new light, and many believe we've been too blind, too arrogant to consider the most terrifying explanation, that someone or something has observed us for longer than we have dared to admit, and now, they have made contact. As Voyager 2's instruments continue to capture data, a team at the Deep Space Network received an unfiltered stream of electromagnetic readings, frequencies oscillating in ways they'd never encountered before. At first, analysts thought it could be interference, cosmic rays, a fluctuation in the background.
Signal was isolated by the team and its waveforms enhanced. What emerged stunned them, a structured sequence, mathematically precise, pulsing almost as though it were intentional. A more thorough analysis was carried out by scientists. The bass harmonic they observed was mirrored, inverted at frequencies of hydrogen, a deliberate alteration of the universe's most prevalent element. What could that possibly imply? The signal wasn't just noise, it was attempting to communicate. The group cross-referenced the signal's path with Voyager 2's trajectory, only to discover that its movement had shifted. It wasn't random, it was tracking the probe. An intern dug through the archives and found decades-old NASA telemetry from Voyager 1. When comparing the data, an unsettling alignment appeared. In the exact same region of interstellar space, Voyager 1 had experienced a brief data anomaly nearly identical to Voyager 2's recent findings. Back then, the disruption had been dismissed as static. Now, in hindsight, it looked like a first encounter. Scientists revisited the Voyager 1 logs and applied modern AI decoding tools to the signal distortions. The result: the waveform matched the current event almost perfectly. This was no coincidence. Something or someone was waiting in the void, and it had confronted both Voyager probes. The implication: this was not the first time we were observed. Using precise modeling, the team mapped the anomaly's motion. It didn't follow gravitational arcs like a comet or asteroid. Instead, its trajectory bent unnaturally, as if warping spacetime itself to remain concealed. Every simulation failed to replicate its path using known physics. Even worse, the object appeared to speed up and slow down at will, remaining on the edge of visibility, just outside the range of NASA's conventional optical instruments. Its behavior was described by scientists as reactive, meaning it only moved in response to Voyager's transmissions. Was it listening, learning, or trying to avoid being seen altogether? Some began to question, what if Voyager 2 didn't just find this thing? What if it provoked it? While the object remained visually elusive, the magnetometer on the probe started to register rapid magnetic flux changes, shifts so sharp they suggested active manipulation of electromagnetic fields. Within the world, conspiracy theories ignited, claiming Voyager 2 had made contact with an intelligence from other stars. But it wasn't just theories. An earlier JPL engineer leaked an internal report implying that the anomaly's field disruptions resembled torus-shaped energy distortions similar to those produced by theoretical Alcubierre drives or fields that warp space. If Voyager had stumbled upon something far beyond our understanding, something capable of folding the fabric of space itself, the energy patterns weren't fading. They were intensifying. And every beat, every wave seemed to resonate with one shocking truth: we are not alone, and we never were. Something even more chilling began to occur back on Earth. Radio telescopes in Chile, Australia, and South Africa started detecting subtle but repeating echoes of the same distorted frequency that Voyager 2 had recorded. These echoes were faint, buried beneath the hum of background cosmic radiation, but they shared one alarming characteristic: they pulsed in perfect synchrony with the transmission delays of Voyager 2's deep space signals. It was as if something out there was mirroring the probe's activity. Analysts called this the phantom pulse. Attempts to triangulate the source were inconclusive, but one thing became undeniable: this wasn't a localized anomaly. Whatever was out there had found a way to project its presence across vast regions of space simultaneously. The pattern wasn't just intelligent, it was strategic, as if designed to be spotted only when humanity was ready. At this point, the conversation within specialized scientific groups shifted from "what is it?" to a more disturbing question: why now? Voyager 2 had been drifting silently for nearly 5 decades, its journey expected to fade into the cosmic background. But now, just as artificial intelligence and quantum decoding on Earth had reached their peak, the anomaly chose to act. Was this a coincidence or an invitation? Some believed the object was not just reacting to Voyager's presence, but to the advancement of technology on Earth that it had been silently observing, waiting, and now, when humanity had the tools to decode its message, it finally made its move. Governments imposed media blackouts. Private observatories were quietly shut down. Some AI researchers were apparently relocated, their projects halted without explanation. Behind closed doors, the question echoed louder than ever: was Voyager 2 the catalyst for first contact, or did it awaken something we were never meant to find? Voyager 2 was more than just a messenger from Earth. It became the trigger of a revelation that shattered our sense of cosmic solitude. The mysterious moving structure, the encoded and mirrored transmission frequencies, all of it lay outside the neat boxes of human science. Something or someone is out there. Not billions of light years away, but lurking in the shadows of our own solar system, watching, waiting. The most frightening aspect: they chose now to respond, not when Voyager launched, not when it passed Neptune, but now when our species finally reached the technological threshold needed to understand. The question isn't whether we're alone anymore. The real question is, what have we just woken up? Stay vigilant, as this story is far from over. The next signal could come at any moment, and the next discovery might not simply alter what we know about the universe,